Hello, it's Monday, September 29, and we're going to play around with the Volkswagen Tiguan here again. This is my 2013, not to be confused with my wife's 2016. This fan speed control switch is doing some weird things. Let's see if I could... Okay, I had to wait a moment for the beeping to go away. So we turn on the air conditioner. All right, there's low, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. There. See, there's 6, and it stayed on 6. There's 4. It's not changing. 6, 5. Did not change. 4. No change. 2. No change. 1. All right, so I think this is pretty simple. I did some YouTubes of my own to see what it takes to replace this, but I'm going to start with verifying that we don't have a mechanical problem with the contacts of this switch. So what I'd like to do is pull this out. You gotta take the rubber piece out down here. There's a couple screws and then a trim tool to pop this bezel off. And I wanna open this thing up and see if I could squirt some contact cleaner in there, or maybe disassemble it far enough that I could see the contacts that the switch makes. Because, you know, it still feels mechanically fine. It's just not functioning the way it's supposed to. Now on my school bus over there, I had a similar thing, and I cleaned the contacts on it, and that fixed it. It was actually a potentiometer, not a contactor, if that makes any sense. So let's take it apart and see what we can see. Okay. The 2 on the outside, you don't have to remove. It's just the 1 in the center. And yeah, this thing's pretty hard to pull out. It feels like you're gonna break the darn thing. But look at this thing. It's mounted on like little rubber grommets. All right, I'm gonna pull these guys out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like. I'm gonna switch my Torx guy. This one, which I think that's the right one. All right, and we're off. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Let's see if I can capture these screws before I lose them. 3, 4. Okay. And now these little white grommet thingies might fall out next. Guess they're more like bushings. Okay, they look like they're captive. Okay. All right, there's nothing to this. Okay, we gotta pull these little clips up. It's a two-handed operation. There we go. 1, 2, and then we'll pull the connectors out. Okay, we came in the house where it's much more comfortable to work. These two little things are just little decorative pieces that go one on each side of the center knob. And I used this little mechanical pencil to push on these tangs one at a time. They popped out, and that's not really getting me anywhere, but what's kind of neat here is you can see how this thing works, and I'm quite certain that these are potentiometers. So when we move this knob, you can see there's a gear and it's moving something else in there. So I bet you're right behind this little point is the potentiometer. And here's the temperature control one. They all work the same. So it looks like we're gonna have to pull the back off. And I got these little super tiny torques. Let's see if I can see what the number is on this. All right, let's see if the back will come off. And then I guess we'll have to take the circuit board out. I'm not really sure. I have no idea what I'm doing here, okay? I'm just winging this. Okie dokie, they are potentiometers. They all have the same part number, 251, if that means anything to anybody. All right, so I'm actually feeling pretty good about this. So to pop this lid off, right? Right here and right here are two little tangs that very easily just push back. Again, I use my little mechanical pencil tip to pop those off of there. Now, I don't know if I should have done something prior, like to position these knobs all the way to one direction or halfway or something, but they are keyed. If you see the tip on that little nipple there, it's got a flat on both sides, but one side has got this little, if I can point to it here, sorry about all that movement. Right there's a little like rib. And if you look at the hole in the potentiometer, it matches that shape right there. So it'll only go together one way, but we're gonna have to position those in the proper orientation when we go to put this together, because for now, we're gonna be squirting contact cleaner up in these potentiometers and moving them back and forth to clean it all up. And we're gonna get that out of sync. All right, so I want to get this circuit board out of the housing. Let's see, how do we do that? Is there any more tangs here? Okay, so it was just a slight friction fit, very almost effortless to pull the circuit board out of this housing. And we'll get to that later. I was just exploring how this works. These don't readily want to come out, which is good. You don't have to worry about things falling apart when you're handling it. This strip is activated by pushing these buttons. Now, those buttons might fall out, I don't know. All right, for those various functions. And when you push on those buttons, it pushes on these little pins right here. This is all like silicone rubber, and those are little carbon, those little black circles are little carbon traces, little carbon buttons, I guess you would call them. And those will short out these little patterns right here. When you push the button, it'll connect that half to that half. And before I put this together, I'm going to make sure I clean all this with alcohol and a Q-tip, as well as maybe I'll do the same there. All the buttons were functioning properly, so maybe I shouldn't even mess with those at all. Our main task is to clean the potentiometer, and this is the one that's doing some squirrely stuff. I'm going to clean all three of them. And I've got the contact cleaner. It's aerosol. So when you look at this, it doesn't look like there's any way that you can really squirt into. There's no like holes. Maybe there's a little notch right there at the corner. And around the circumference of that. But that's all we're going to be able to do without destroying this thing. I mean, I guess, yeah, it looks like they're soldered in on these points right here. I need to get a closer look at that with a magnifying glass. I'm pretty sure that's soldered in. With my old eyes, I really can't tell what I'm looking at. Looking through the back of my phone, that is. Maybe playing this back on video, it'll be quite very obvious. But yeah, it does look like that's soldered. So I guess you could pop the lid off. The whole tang right there. But I don't want to get that aggressive. Oh, there's a little opening right there in the bottom, right in the middle. All right, let me go get my contact cleaner and give this thing my Boy Scout best. We're going to go easy peasy on this thing. I'm feeling pretty good about this repair at this point. That contact cleaner is going to fix it up. Stand by. All right, this is the stuff we're using. Bought this up in New Jersey, 10 bucks. Don't know if that's a good price or not. Got my little plastic tray out here so I don't hurt anything. And we're gonna blast these things out. I'm not gonna be able to show you. Yeah, more of that. All right, I might be screwing up here, but I took that's a sewing needle. Get my finger in there to show you the size of this stuff. And I was able to get underneath the edge of this little metal cover, and it just popped right off, and now I could see this little guy. And there's probably carbon traces and metal contacts. So I guess I'll just wipe that. I wasn't getting any of that cleaner, I didn't think, inside. So that's why I popped the top off of that. So I guess I'm just figuring this out as I'm going along here. I guess I'll gingerly wipe this off with a paper towel with some of that contact cleaner. And I don't know what I'm going to do with those, because those little things are tiny, man. So here's my big burly fingers with this needle. All right, so if I mess those up, game's over. We're buying a whole new controller, which they're not that expensive. But I am quite certain that the problem is that this contact of this potentiometer is failing us. Well, we're making progress. I got all three of those little metal covers unclipped, and I haven't lost or broken anything yet. I had to switch to using my little baby screwdriver here on the last one, and I was getting kind of leery had a hard time getting underneath it. And I was afraid I was gonna scratch up the traces. So we'll see if this works. I still haven't figured out how I'm gonna clean those things. It's interesting that they look slightly discolored. I don't know, I can't see that well enough. I think what I'll do is, even looking into my phone, I really can't tell what I'm looking at. It looks like they're like, in this one here, the lower one, looks a little green or blue around it. I don't know if it's corroded or that's just coloring. I don't know. I'm gonna take a picture of that right now. Click. And put it on my computer and zoom in really big. Actually, I got this magnifier glass right here that I've been using. Let's see if I could see with that better. Well, I sprayed them with the contact cleaner and then blew it with compressed air in a shop, and then I came back here and I lifted up on each of those little tangs just a little bit. I bent them so they'll be a little bit tighter, and then sprayed it with contact cleaner again. And I think I'm gonna call that done. Yeah, those tangs are sitting up way, like twice as high as they were before. I just used my little screwdriver. All right, let's see if we can now get this thing back together uneventfully. Got them in there. So they don't have any stops. So I'm spinning them around a little bit just to kind of exercise those wear surfaces in there. All right, let's get this thing back together before we break it. Oh, I want to wipe those off, that's right. So I oriented these controls with the little pin straight up at 12 o'clock on all three. And I've got these pointed down, which will be up when I flip this thing over. And this should plop right in there. One, two, three. Perfect. It snapped right in there just right, and I could see that they're all in the right spot. Okay. Fabulous. All right. Let's 7 screws have to go in the back, and then these 2 little plastic things. I don't think there's a left and oh, there is. There's a left and a right to these things. This way. They're not, yeah, they're not the same. One's got 3 little clips, the other one's only got, one's got 4, one's got 3. All right, man, 7 screws. Yeah, so it is a T8. I had to get this smaller driver. This big one, I couldn't feel what I was doing good enough. So just a little FYI on putting screws in plastic. I always like to put them in the hole and turn it backwards until I feel it click, where the screw drops into the existing threads, and then screw it right in so we don't cross thread the hole. It doesn't make a heck of a lot of difference, I guess, but you know, this plastic is pretty old and it gets fragile, so I didn't want to do anything that would cause me troubles. Let me go do the install now. Okay, here we go. Okay, on. Let's wait for the beep to stop. All right, I can hear the fan on low. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. It's not a mechanical problem. It's acting exactly the same as it did before. So, we gotta get a new one. Hey, you know what? I just thought of something. Since I've got a spare Volkswagen Tiguan, let's not tell my wife I'm borrowing the parts off of her car to test mine out. Let's see what happens. 0, 1. Perfect. Yep, it's definitely this guy. Hey, it's Thursday, October 2nd, and eBay delivers, and it looks like the thing to me, man. So let's get this puppy installed. Okay, finish the swapperoo.
This is Tom Hudson. You think...
I think we're golden. Oh, this has got electric seats. It wasn't supposed to have this. They sent me the wrong one. I wonder if it matters. Or I ordered the wrong one. But it's working fine. All right, so I have choices. I can first double check my eBay order. It does seem to be working perfectly normally. It's blowing cold. I believe it's regulating the temperature. Yes, it is. Maybe this will be fine just the way it is. I'm going to hook up my VCDS and make sure that there's no codes that this is generating because these switches are trying to turn something on that doesn't exist. And we'll take it from there.